at last night's council meeting, you and I believe you have pretty much reversed your mind on this, decided that maybe we ought to scale back the downtown revitalization project, scale it back down to something more manageable.
Well, that's very true, Tony. That was a very perceptive view. There's two funds in city business that you need to concern yourself with. The general fund, which takes care of fire protection, police protection, storm drains, and streets, and then the enterprise fund, which is water and sewer. So the $4 million that we were going to have to borrow for the completion of the revitalization project was coming out of the general fund, which is funded by property taxes. The $1.8 million that will do the water project, the transportation line that will provide more volume, fire protection, if you will, to the Main Street area and the hospital, would be funded out of the enterprise fund. Okay, two separate funds. We're not growing enough through additional annexed properties or building inside the city limits or increasing our sales tax fast enough like we had up until 2008 to pay for these projects. We've paid for all of our projects except for 3 out of the general fund, out of sales tax and fees. We've not increased taxes. As a matter of fact, they've gone from $1.50 down to 53 cents. But we've paid them by growth. So when I looked at that over the last month after I received it, and looked at the growth that we've had since 2008, I realized that our sales tax is not growing. It's growing, but it's not growing fast enough to cover these major projects that we have on the books right now. Our growth is not growing fast enough, and as a matter of fact, it made me come to the decision that I had to choose between and have a greater priority for the area that would grow the quickest, the longest, and provide more growth for businesses and industries. And that's why I made the motion last night to scale back the downtown project to only the water line for fire protection for Main Street and the hospital, and to make our sidewalks ADA, bring them up to ADA standards.
At a cost of?
I believe we can do that for about $1.8 million. And we could work the sidewalks in as an operational budget and do the things that we need to do there. We're going to have to build some ramps. We're going to have to make some handrails. We're going to have to level those sidewalks to make them ADA standards.
Well, that's a far cry from the planned revitalization of changing the look entirely of the town with the aesthetics and everything else that was involved. But also it's a whole lot cheaper to do it this way.
Well, it's the highest and best use of your money. Tony, you have to make those decisions every day, just like everybody in our community. What's the best use of my dollars? What's the best use of city's dollars? And in my opinion, the Northwest Connector is the highest and best use, especially when we have a written contract with the Tennessee Department of Transportation where if we provide the right-of-ways and the engineering, they will build the road. That's a 5-lane, 12 feet wide lanes with bike trails and sidewalks. And it crosses the Obed River. And the environmentals are already done. So as far as comparing opening up 2,000 acres plus and opening up the north side of town or the north side of our community, if it comes, and it did to me, whether there's a priority, I thought it was a pretty easy decision. Yes, we're going to lose $3.5 million worth of grants, approximately. But we're going to have $12 million worth of grants, whatever the road costs,
Right.
over there on the Northwest Connector.